This scenery is wonderful. Surely enough to convince anyone to become a wanderer. Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of my home. This blade, it is the last link I have to the land of my birth. This scenery is wonderful. Surely enough to convince anyone to become a wanderer.
Hello. Sorry, that took me a sec. Okay. Oh, I'm cold suddenly. I guess I gotta get a blanket here in a little bit, but I want to work on the story. Yes.
Wherever in this world I roam, carry memories of my home.
Oh, excuse me.
This blade.
Okay. Yeah, plan is to work on the story a little bit. I accidentally progressed a little bit. I did not mean to. Damn, I was trying to
follow the wind.
Fly there. The whole way there, it did not work.
It's right up ahead, but...
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone.
Huh, very good.
I shall find rooms for our respected...
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue.
And it was purely accidental that well, yeah, obviously it was accidental that I accidentally did it, but still, like, I really did not mean to start the quest.
Time to go.
Oh, it was on that side. I thought I saw... Whee! I'm just making sure there's nothing that I'm missing. Points. Use this teleport.
Time to go.
Is this like a black market? That's kind of what it seems like.
So, this is your base?
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago.
Your father... He was...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to...
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender. 3 years later, how could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself. The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please. If there is...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence...
Wait, if Callus was such a good man...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that...
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but There was only ever one choice.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel.
Afterward, Ms. Cloran told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety. Yes, that is our understanding.
oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Thanks.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will.
Interesting. I'm glad this is finally unlocked, though. This waypoint.
Paimon slept so... Huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get... But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you...
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vacher.
Wait, so you didn't...
How could I after having such
guess Paimon...
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't... I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vacher person is a key witness in the incident.
Interesting.
That mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place
Hello,
in Fontaine
Roblox, how are
that
you?
they would find almost impossible to threaten, no matter how much they wanted to. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we? Aren't you coming?
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief Justice.
Interesting. Okay. Now that I've unlocked that, I can explore there a little later.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Need to get up and grab a jacket because I am so cold, but I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, I don't think you were here when I said it, but I missed a little, or I started a little bit of the story on accident.
Halt!
I ran
Please
into
state
it.
your business here. The
and,
Chief Justice is
yeah.
presently occupied with
So
official matters.
we skipped forward a little bit. I'm good, just honestly, I've been so tired and out of it today for some reason. That's why I'm like, I just want to chill and play some of the Genshin story and just vibe, I guess.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep, yep. Paimon can
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago?
Yeah.
We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorney.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just...
Thanks so much.
I'm watching the Barbie movie with my sibling right now. Nice. I really want to see the Barbie movie. I still haven't seen it.
Please come in.
wanted to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not.
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some...
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the...
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or... There are no records of him either in the files or in my...
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Miss...
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to... If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never... It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you
crying.
would never
I know, I was like,
express
wait a minute.
anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Damn. Is that the first time we've seen, like, actual crying in this? Probably not. I probably just wasn't paying attention. Happened before.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain? Yeah, and if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by your... Great. Let's go
I guess that's giving you like a stopping point there. Near for that. Oh, it just teleported me here. That's nice. It rains when he cries. Oh.
Ship. Why would a ship be anchored at a place like this?
Navia hurt his feelings? Damn.
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous
Is that
ship
actually
embodies
like
discovery,
the
opportunity,
lore?
ambition, and conquest.
Because that's so sad.
Sula's bright and limitless.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di... Paimon was confused why a group with such a But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself...
Well, Poisson is...
It's so weird because I've already been down here. I already explored this whole area. That's because the Hydro Dragon cries. Oh, that's
Apologies
fair.
for the wait, demoiselle, and our most... You said before that you still had some business at the court.
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what...
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions.
Genshin.
And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Interesting.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food.
I don't know it either, honestly.
But then,
I don't know what it is for
we heard
Genshin.
2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces... Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything? And Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between... But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Oh. Is teen? Huh.
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live, and the serial disappearances case caused him great. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina de Rosula, but as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right. So nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful were still far preferable.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect...
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer, I'm sure he'd be
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for... There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside. No, but a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed. But also...
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine Authority?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been.
That's true. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and...
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with... When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendor. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then, after several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, the first is Florent, Spina de Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could... There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around, with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the Synth, it's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina de Rosula. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience...
Of course. And thank you,
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Aw, thank you so much, Malus.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
So I'm guessing I get to go talk to all these people now. Are they down below or are they on this coming
settled
in
then.
from your roof.
Please excuse me and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malou.
Excuse me, miss.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-up.
They found out about his
Papa didn't say that exactly. But Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to—
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy? If he did the right, Papa always wanted to be a good man. So why did he have to do—
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa.
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current—
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Yeah, so we are going to talk to everyone, it seems.
Are you okay, Navia?
There's the stairs.
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's
I
investigate
guess
the
I
three
should go
suspects
across.
next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Oops, wrong. Wait, lower? God damn it. Higher. Oh. Of course it.
Time to go.
What? It would would help if I looked at the map and didn't just fucking pay attention to the little numbers on the side.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House.
Yeah, I've heard.
It also reminded me, on the day after my partner here put the dots together for me, can you do me a favor and try to recall?
After that, my first react, but when I got...
So you also
Indeed. Reason being, but according to the about the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques. Or...
Yeah, that makes a lot... But hold on. If he didn't even want to face... Did he lose all faith in the courts?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. I'll tell you everything, once the whole...
I understand. Then, and if I may just... Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus. Even after... But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula. No matter what others might say.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at...
Let's see. Oh. Oh wait.
Hey, Thierry! It's...
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours?
Yes. These two are my... What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Lenny's case...
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? If you want to go through the original files from your father's case...
I started zoning out. I kind of am right now.
Why do you ask?
Well,
I'm like, do I want to read all this? It's like, just, I'm bored now.
If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make removing a cereal, so I can promise you, they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, jokes aside, I'd like to... I'll be staying in the city for a little while.
Okay, so... Where is it? So, that way. Woo! I was trying to stay up as high as possible, but no! That just didn't work.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You could... Sure. I will let him know right...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what...
Yes,
Oh!
that's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a... I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing to beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf. I can already imagine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become...
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away.
Exactly. I still...
Oh, and
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an... If not for the vigil...
Oh, you're giving us too much credit.
alas, it seems things are heating up again. But rest assured, Navia, if anyone dares to lay their hand...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. Do you have any new thoughts on...
About that. The Confrérie was responsible for... Then I heard the sound of a gun...
Oh, it's okay. No need to push...
Sounds good. Just let me know. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it...
We've talked to all three suspects.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
He guarantee his safety after killing Callus? Could he guarantee his family's safety?
Oh,
That's
that's
fair.
a good point. Jacques probably already...
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective? Makes sense. But besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after...
Do you think he knew
Given everything that's happened since, but who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
Marcel had a lot
Uncle
of money.
Marcel? My father did really trust him. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number. It's still really hard for me to imagine. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of... Thierry, you say? Huh. But I didn't feel like it...
Yeah. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out.
Florent? But... Spina...
So you're saying he's too...
Exactly. He can't. Who could it be?
Oh, are we doing a thinking thing? So it was the first one that I selected. God damn it.
If you think everything through,
Could we be missing other suspects?
Malus has... The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. We need far more solid proof.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for...
Huh? Aren't you the guy?
Yeah. News came from Araneus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's...
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
Child? What the fuck?
Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even...
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do...
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our plans.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found...
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder than to...
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base. You're right. This is our— I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you.
We'll help you, just like
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver, when did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require. It's our hope that your
Thank you so much.
see you then.
God damn it, Shadow. How did you get fucking arrested?
Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh.
Oh.
Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all. Ah, you're right. And Navia's probably arguing.
Cool, so we do get to see part of this.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearance?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for—
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the— Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbinger.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor,
audience
is there
members are so
nothing else for me
annoying,
to
yeah.
do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge?
That person is...
Marcel, right?
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Ros?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney.
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of only through elucidating what really happened in that case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, if that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
I don't want to do this. I just want to do the part where we fucking talk
hosted a large banquet
deal
in a
with
countryside
the
estate
fucking
owned by the Confrérie of Cabriere.
other side.
During the banquet, when the guests arrived at the scene, the guards' investigation
I
did not,
hate
the
these
suspect did not
portrayals
dispute.
already.
Callus was defeated by Champ. These are the known facts.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing... Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities... The testimony of the... However, unfortunately...
Oh.
This assassin... A pile of clothes, but now, since... Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the...
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respect.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that...
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, 1, do you have...
I'm afraid not. At least not at this
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around this, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around the...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a...
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved...
I've thought about this too. And the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my—
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next—
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect— Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to— But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the— I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the—
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your— But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth.
So, during the duel, did you believe—
As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave.
Since that's your testimony,
Is there other
I have
champion
no more
duelists that
questions.
we get to
I
see?
concur. However,
Or
Miss
not.
Navia, you
Probably
still
not
have not
yet.
explained the link between your father's
Until you
case
do
and the serial
this one.
disappearances case.
Watching me do it, and he showed me a video of a person who sounds very similar. I can send you
Right?
the video on Discord.
What she
Okay,
said was
fair.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at— The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were all— Coincidentally, Marcel attended—
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
But it's possible he's just a cop.
No
fair.
need to appeal to.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything— On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely—
Know what she—
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the— Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your— But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me—
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped
I do apologize, Demoiselle.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snet. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anger?
Seems like she got the wrong— At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accused—
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings, but aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into—
This isn't just about me. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image do you see? Is it a man named Vash? Oh, so you do.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone
I was waiting for you to say that.
So we finally get to see the other side now. Set up? Oh. Did I change my party? Is this in case you can't defeat this or something? So I'll try it. Why are they not attacking? Oh, now
We'll
they
see
are.
about that. Truth repeats itself. Time for takeoff.
Quietly now. Wind strike.
I keep putting my hand on the keyboard in the wrong spot, so it's like screwing me up because I'm.
Game's up. Time's over.
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Oh, and there goes my earbuds. It's fine.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see
Oh
a way.
god. That scared the shit out of me.
Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
I thought I was gonna fall. Nice. So you're using Animo Team? Yeah. I basically have been for a while. Oh, there goes the water. That doesn't seem like it's enough though. I'm guessing I have to.
Rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
I've been switching out Yalen for either Coco or
We'll see about that.
oh my gosh, my brain's blinking. Yoimiya as needed, basically.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Gotcha. We'll see about that. Think you can get away? Let's play.
Quietly now.
My EQ being like half broken is really screwing me with Yalen's burst. Or not burst, but E.
Gears of the storm. Time for takeoff.
Clouds high. The birds... Gotcha. Things are about to get dicey. Wind strike.
was trying to swap my item, but you know, that did not work because I got a cutscene.
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
Oh, is it? Probably. I fucking just need to craft like a shit ton of something.
This scenery is wonderful.
Something that's
Surely
actually
enough to
filling
convince
for my
anyone to become a
characters.
wanderer.
Ooh, fancy. Actually, let's do this.
Too late for regret.
Quietly now.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's the fun.
Have fun with this gift. Wretched bastard! Think you can get away? Yahoo!
Fallen leaves.
Adorn! Busted.
Wind strider. Clouds high. The birds.
Game's up. Time's over. Gotcha.
There's an expedition in Fontaine. Ooh. I was reading and I ran straight off the edge. That gives. Or wait, there's a expedition in Fontaine that gives Sweet Flower and you can put characters. Sweet. Oh, that's true. I should do that. I always just kind of randomly pick.
After all, though, as
Honestly.
expected, the map. That's right. What's all this? It's a bunch of really cute things.
Sorry, hang on.
Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
Might lag for a second. I accidentally opened something. Got it. Go away now.
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled with different girls' names? Huh? You mean the girls from the... And then... They were... And all the boxes of things. These...
There we go.
Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the... Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stacks? Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's super... What's this over here? Looks like some experiment number... The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 20... Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just... How could someone write something that terrible? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did all of... But did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim. No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he... In any case, Paimon will write it all down. Let's see what's written here. Nothing. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report. Yep, this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to Sir. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Was that it? Is there more? Let's see. See anything? That's everything. But also, like... What's this? I was like, I feel like there would be direction if that was all of it.
Over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the synth. If you dilute it with normal water, Paimon will take notes on this incriminating it. We've looked at almost everything here, and yeah, we haven't found anything that revealed. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. That way, even if we bring all this back to the sure thing. Paimon wanted...
Do I have to go look at these again?
You take that side and Paimon will take... Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? Let Paimon see! Vinier. Isn't that Vache's... Then... Aw... It's just a normal diet... So many! A whole page's worth! But the final name she decided on was... Marcel! Wait, but... Marcel's pretty old! Has this case been going on for so long that hey!
Oh, okay, so it was interesting. Huh.
And whose image do you... Is it a man named... Oh, so you... I was waiting for...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial... But the truth